You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Aloha. Gaia Sophia Dreaming. Mike here. Thank you all for tuning in with the heart transmissions. Much love, much gratitude. Whew. Thankful. Let's live the world we want to live. Let's dream it into being. Let's make it the reality we want. We've been living a figment of our imagination and actually not wanting it, but somehow thinking that is what all there is for us, and then even discounting ourselves, our dreams, our visions of the true reality of what we want to be, what we want to see, how we want to live. And this is arising, this is more than just arising, it's permeating, it's flooding the field, it's everywhere. And it's this. You can get caught up in any of the mainstream, new cage, whatever stuff is being spouted out there that causes you to think or feel fear. And you're looking at the world. You're not looking at it clear enough. Because most of the times there's no solutions when they present their problems. And if there's any, they, other parts of us, present, here's the problem. The solution is, 10, 20, 30 years or whatever bullshit. Hey, I ain't got a problem with the government in a way in terms of lying. I know they're lying. I'm an adult. I can see that and accept that and go, you're not telling me the truth. Thank you. But we have a thing to take this as, but the government is lying to us, but then we take it as truth. I mean, come on. This, to me, is pretty moronic, actually. Same thing you're blaming for your problems. You're trying to still give you the solution. You're like a heroin addict. You're like a hardcore addict to whatever substance it may be. And it's actually, you're an addict to the name. You're an addict to the system. You think that's what feeds you, keeps you alive. You think this is what's going to, it's poisoning you, but you also think it's your cure. Well, just a little bit more and I'll be free of it. Just give me one more taste and then I'll be done with it. I don't care what it is. Chocolate, alcohol, religion, Bobby Sue, Tommy, whoever, whatever. This is a level of the mind that we keep getting stuck in. And it's about to get unstuck. Because there's only so long you can remain willfully ignorant without something coming unglued. And when I look at the system, as we call it, the matrix, and as I've been sharing, it's getting louder to get you off its back. It's getting louder. Just like, hey, get off my friggin' tit. You're a perpetual energy source yourself. You're a supreme being. And like this, I'm like, yeah, guys, which part of you are all powerful, and so is everyone else, did you not get? Did you forget? Did you not quite remember? Because as soon as you go, we got to see which government or religion or savior is going to make it right, when all they've shown you is the wrong, in a way. And I'm thankful. Thanks for the contrast. I had that one a little confused also. It's a wrong, right? Correct. Yeah, thank you. I didn't think stealing and hitting was good either. Whether I was a individual being, a group of people, or an army, or hiding behind some other bigger structure to justify a wrong. And you can't. It's still a wrong no matter how much you dress it up for yourself or for some country or for some greater being that you might be imagining, and say, but it's okay for them to do that. No, this is just inherently flawed, not correct. And when you have a moment to really just take a brief breath and look at this, you come back to yourself and you realize how you're playing this game internally with yourself, and you realize, I don't want to do that. And then you realize, and I don't want to live in a world like that. And that's clarity. That's now putting your intent out there. You saw the contrast. You recognized the truth and accepted it. And now we're putting our intention out there to see this in our lives, where we can live again. This is truly living. This is what we're waking up to. This cold, well, this warm-hearted fact, actually. And you can talk to me all you want about, well, no, you can't, actually, because I'll probably tune you out. About how some other thing is controlling your life, and that's the way it is, and there's nothing we can do about it, or not in my lifetime. And I was sharing with my dad the other day, and he gave me that line. Let me see how many times my dad been around here. 1935, he came in. So he ain't no spring chicken. And I called him up on it. I said, that's bullshit. And I don't accept that. This is, you're not going to see this, and this is the line. And I'm like, Dad, where'd you hear that? The TV? Come on, you know better. And he was, yeah, and he does know better. And he shared with me, yeah, okay. I said, you got to check your sources of information when you're spouting that crap. It won't happen in your lifetime. Generation for 20 generations said, well, you're looking at the picture wrong if you're thinking like that. There's one lifetime now. When we talk about the next generation, it's here. Already the next 3 generations are here. At least. And if we want to look at things clearer, the 3 generations are before, and you're here. So whichever way you want to look at it, we are living basically 7 generations of beings on this planet, minimum right now. So when you talk about saving this planet for the future, you better do it right here in this instant, this moment. Otherwise, you just went back into the old paradigm. These things never get solved. They're always pushed off into a figment of your imagination. That's a false reality. That's never getting on with the true living that is right here. That's always for us to do, and becoming more and more aware of this. You're not happy with something. For example, the government, your religion, your business. You're not happy with it for a reason. It's because it's broke. Stop trying to fix it, and stop trying to get a solution out of it to your problems when it was the thing that made it. Or, well, it actually didn't make it, you made it. It just showed you. So take back your responsibility in this. And you can talk about, well, how is this so? Well, look, it's no different if the universe punches you in the nose, or if you're friend of yours punches in your nose. Well, Mike, one's way bigger than the other. And I'm telling you, they're sending you the same message. You know, and you're responsible. So it's like, oh, I got something hard, and then we project it outside, and we come against that hard. We're like, oh, you start blaming the wall again. You start blaming whatever. I'm like, wow. Let's rewind it here a little bit and have some instant slow-mo replay and check out just what went down. And you'll see how in this, we'll call it a projection, where you took this internal conflict and projected it into the world for you to see it more clearer in a way, to show you some contrast, to shine some light, some other perspectives on the situation. And like I said, it came from inside you first. So like that, it's an internal struggle. You want to change the world outside, you go inside to change it. And when you do that, the more we do this, what we're recognizing is, oh wait, there's no separation from the outside. I'm not seeing things dualistically anymore. That world I see on the inside is the exact world I'm seeing on the outside now. Minus all the dross. Minus all the confusion and lies and old system paradigm beliefs that were just drifting around, catching your attention, confusing you. All of that is being dissolved. It's dissipating. And you're seeing the picture clearer, and you're recognizing, wait a second. When we said, as above, so below, as without, so within, we truly meant it. Yeah, it wasn't that it looked one way inside and looked a different way outside. It's the same. Will it look a little, what I'm getting at is, it's not two different worlds. And we've had this is the game we played in our so-called reality. And now what is getting clearer is, yeah, it was just a dead fictional reality that when we tuned into it, it gave us an illusion of separation where there is none. And all things that we kind of colored with that illusion of separation, well, is basically the lie we've been trying to live. Again, the lie we've been trying to live. Because you truly can't live a lie. It's not true living. You disconnected yourself in a way from, yourself, from all. Well, you didn't disconnect yourself. You just tuned yourself out a little bit. And when you tuned yourself out, your focus caught this lie, this dead fictional reality that we've been playing in, and blew it up out of proportion. And that's what we do with all these actors on the world stage. But Mike, it's the government. It's so big. No. Truly not. Mike, they got a bunch of papers that say so. I got a bunch of trees that say otherwise. Mike, but there's no words written on that tree. Man, all of life is in that tree. It's got it all, just like you and me. And so these are different ways.
Speaking of trees,
I'm sharing of how we come back to self. And when we do that, then we can look at the world again through a clearer set of spectacles in a way. You start recognizing what truly is and what isn't. And you recognize that this system of governments that we've been playing, where someone has the right to rule over another, is just such a farce. I'm like, any logical, rational, reasonable person, when you sat down with them and share this, they'd be like, yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, I agree. And then you show them the picture of our so-called life, and they'd be like, oh, that completely doesn't match. That isn't what we were wanting or thinking that to be. Yeah, correct. Well, what do we got to do? Well, just recognize it as that. In your mind, in your spirit, in your heart, just know that the game we've been playing, that you thought ruled your life, truly does not. It does not. But Mike, it has influence over what I do. Yeah, it still has influence. But it doesn't rule your life. You can pretend and let it rule your life. Ooh, we've all been doing pretty much all of us have been doing a pretty good job at that. Pretending to be servants to a master. And the ultimate master is ourselves. And then we're like, oh. And then when you truly serve yourself, you can truly serve others. And it isn't this inferiority, superiority complex. It's this loving wholeness being. The true living that we're all waking up to. We're all waking up with. And we're recognizing what isn't. And for me, this can't come fast enough. This can't be here any sooner. Yeah, if you want to call it developing patience. I'm not nervous about it. I'm not worried about it. But again, it couldn't come fast enough for me. What do you mean, Mike? What do you mean it couldn't come fast enough? Well, what it means is I don't want to see anybody harming each other or themselves anymore. Mike, but it's our choice. Yeah. In the end of the day, we're recognizing that we don't have the choice, actually, the freedom to harm another. It's inherent. It's like, do no harm. And it's continuing to happen, where harm is being caused. And I'm like, yep, that's still happening. Because somehow inside we're causing harm to ourselves. And we're still playing that out. And it's still getting diffused through business and government and all these other different systems and institutions for us to go, look, there's the problem, there's the problem, instead of, no, once again, it was just something about you. And this is showing you. And when we come back into that, this whole world changes. Because there's no reason to now have that experience on the outside. We clear the internal struggle. There's no reason to experience it on the external. What we will experience on the external is the solution to that internal struggle. We'll see the completion of it. We'll see the fulfillment of, well, our lives. Because we're going to be living them. And no longer tuning back into the world where we harm ourselves and others. Internally, externally. Because as we're recognizing, there's no difference between the internal and the external. We can say one's a reflection of the other, and there's no difference. It's a reflection of, just like you're a refraction, a fractal of all. So, but Mike, it's just a reflection. It's just a reflection. Yeah, exactly. So quit playing with the mirror, so to say. Quit trying to fix your face in the mirror. It's just like you got a zit on your face, and you're trying to actually pop it on the mirror. And it's just like, no, it's on your face, not on the mirror. And this is what we've been doing. And I see so many spiritually, well, I'll call it hearted, because we usually say spiritually minded. I'm like, if you were spiritually minded, you wouldn't be thinking this crap that I hear coming out of, me sometimes and a lot of us. Whether it's, World War III, this story in Nevada, do all of this, and now they're going to do that. And really, how much do you just want to disempower yourself? And then other people got to wake up. No, you got to wake up, man. You got to wake up and stop projecting this internal struggle on everyone else. And that struggle is just a dance. You don't have two left feet, so stop tripping yourself. I'm trying to do that for me also. And I am. And I'm recognizing it in my small ways, big ways, however much you want to blow them up or try and make them small. And I'll just hide it over here, and this way I won't see it. No. Things aren't being hidden anymore. Why? Because as we've been sharing, your ego, your shadow, all of this is rising to the surface to be released once again into wholeness. It's what energy does. Energy doesn't want to be separate. It isn't separate. But we've kind of pigeonholed it over here to play out these dramas, to remember who and what and where we truly are. And thank you. Well, let's get on with living. So aloha all. Lines are open. You can call in 347-326-9530. Thank you, criticalmassradio.co.uk. You can go to Blog Talk. Find your way. Tune into your heart, and you will definitely tune in to what needs to be for you, for me, and to everyone. That's it. It's as simple as that.
Good morning.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Let me get my volume up here.
Click.
Yeah, let me see how much I had it down and all that other stuff. So, how you all doing?
I'm doing great. All on my heart.
Oh, you might want to turn your volume down, Mike, because it's picking up on a feedback.
All right.
There we go. And I'm going to let Janet's giggle say how I feel.
Oh, thank you, Kate. It's been beautiful this whole week. Everything is just so beautiful. Loving every minute of every day.
It's about to get better. You ready?
Ready. Ground control to major job.
Yeah, Houston, we have ignition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been so great.
Third stage is free, and we are blasting out of this reality. I feel an essay coming on. I like to paint pictures for people, and I liked how Mike was coming in with the tree of life, etc. And actually, this essay will be titled "The Tree of Death." And everything has to have its mirror, right? So for every positive, there's a negative, and vice versa. And you have to find the singularity in it. One of the things that I've noticed with the people that have been texting and writing, especially over the last few days, you see, I look for the trend of what we're exposing, and it always shows itself within 2 or 3 posts of, one is, okay, well, that's could be coincidence, which is not. So I look for the second and third and fourth of people dealing with the same situation. And not only through text and whatever, but dealing in real time with people in real occurrences that are happening to basically unveil the last layer. And it is so mind-numbingly simple. It's been the same thing I've said all along, and I'm going to paint a little picture here for you to show you why, in natural law, this is spot on. Okay, and I write it out in great detail. Well, not great detail, but enough detail to paint this picture. But when you stop and think of, we talk about the tree of knowledge and the tree of life, which is only half the picture. So you have the other two trees, the tree of death and the tree of ignorance, right? So one will always come with the other. The tree of life always has knowledge, and the tree of death always has ignorance. It has to equal and balance out, right? Quad. So when you look at the tree that has encompassed this earth, the roots of this tree that have went into every continent, into literally every one, this is the tree that's known as the cyst stem. Okay? Every plant has a stem, so this is the tree of death, the cyst stem. That's the tree that's ruling this place. This world has a tree ruling it, and it is that's what I'm going to be calling it, the cyst stem. Now, the name creates you as a branch to drain your life. So this tree of death can mimic life. It cannot be life; it must mimic it. Right? That's the nature of life and death. Death can only mimic life. Think of Frankenstein's monster as an allegory, or think of a zombie as an allegory. And that's exactly what it is. It is literally the walking dead, or the dead brought back life in a false means. And that's what the system thrives on. Another allegory that will entertain this, I'm going to get into a couple of small proofs for people to see and what has been showing up in my reality over the last 4 or 5 days. When you think of the Book of the Dead, well, you're a leaf page in that Book of the Dead. And of course, a page is someone who works for a knight. In this case, you're a page that works for a dark knight with a dead queen as its master. So think back to why do we refer to the branches of government or bank branches? Which branch of the bank are you going to? Right? What is a bank? Well, a bank is on each side of a river to try to contain and direct the truth. This is why you have to cut new rivers. You get to be your own banks by removing that and becoming the floodplains. So think about, excuse me, one example of it. It shows up in the phonics very nicely. We have things called vehicle identification numbers, which is commonly called a VIN or a vine, which is simply another offshoot from the cyst stem. So I've talked to actually a couple of people face to face regarding this, and a couple of people have texted me through Facebook with exactly the same scenario. Someone just had their driver's license revoked. Yay! I always love it when the system takes their curse back. It's so funny. And then people, I'm not saying the ones that understand what we're doing here, but the ones that say would get their license revoked are going, oh no, I can't, I gotta, it's they're lusting after the very thing that's killing them. Whereas when the system takes something back, you go, okay, thanks. They
don't see it as a favor, yeah.
Yeah, you saved me the bother, And again, I'll go back to an example. I have a recording of it. I should get it loaded up. I've got to actually take a bit out of it because it's a very long conversation. But Jim Macris from the Ministry of the Attorney General, the MAG, in the Corporation of Canada here, made it very clear in voice, in a recording, that a license and insurance is not required to access the public roads. And I know this. Known this all along. So I don't know why people are so stressed out about it, right? But here, let's have a look at what is a vine. Well, a vine is something that grows from a root. So that vine or vin is attached to this cyst stem. And there's only one thing that attaches all of these things that you would claim to own to the cyst stem, and that is the name. That is the root and the branch. It is both at the same time. When you cut that from the system, the legal name, and you just have to get the concept of this, when you cut that legal name, you are literally shearing the branch off that dead tree, the tree of death, and you're pulling the root out. It is both the root and the branch, as above, so below, just like Michael said earlier. Okay? So these are not coincidentals, right? Have a look at what do you call the, in the UK we call it the boot. There's Italy, right? In North America we call it the trunk, right? Well, there's your tree trunk, there's your elephant trunk, there's your storage trunk, all of these things, right? And what is a trunk on an elephant? It's the nose, right? And of course on the front of the car, over here we call it a hood, which means mind, right? So it's a covering of the mind. They're actually saying the covering is the mind. So, well, time to lift the hood and empty the boot or the trunk, right? What else? Oh, steer, ring, wheel, right? What is a steer? Well, it's cattle. What is a ring? Well, it's a ring through its nose. So, and here we are holding on to the steer ring wheel to direct our lives. So there's a little hidden intent in there. That if you're holding on to the steer ring wheel, someone else is leading you by the nose. And these are the crazy little concepts that I love to pull out allegorically, because within that you find the hidden curse or the intent or the spell as to why they're called a certain thing. So I take nothing for granted. I look at it and go, well, it's called that for a reason. Just like the bull means to go and talk. Well, I want to know why it means go and talk. So I want to know why it's called a steer ring wheel. We know what it is. Why? And there it is. So this little essay I'll be working on today is going to cover this. So if you want to get, here's the thing with cars and trucks especially. There is one thing that is riveted to the car. Oh, it'll keep you riveted to the play too, and that's the VIN. So pop the damn thing out. It's the only thing. Now, a license plate, you can sell a car and put other license plates on it, and I hate talking commerce, but this is just allegory. And different plates can go on it on the outside, but the VIN always stays the same. So I always look for the one common denominator in everything. What is the one thing that remains constant? Well, always the name, always the VIN. So, well, get rid of the name and pop the VIN. Because I'll tell you right now, without a VIN, there is nothing attaching it to the system. If you want to get real fun with this, just pop the VIN and mail it back to the. There you go. The system only owns the numbers and the paper. You have the illusion of thinking that they can come and grab your shit. They can't. But they can while you think in the normal sense, of course, because you're a slave at that point. But as soon as you know what we talk about at this table, you'll understand what we're really saying. So this is cutting all the strings to pull on. This is cutting the branches and the roots from the dead tree. The tree of death mimics you. Yeah.
So inside this, people would have this question, because I've posed it before, like you're doing now, and it's just so clear for me that, oh yeah, thank you for shining light on actually the most important point. Why is this so? As little kids always ask, why? Why? And we're like, just because it's so. And now we're realizing that again is, we need to start asking why. Why is it like this? And not because of some, it wasn't because as a kid why we would just shut them up or whatever, or we got shut up when we asked why, too many whys. It's because we didn't know the answer. And that's why we got flustered with each other and was just like, stop asking me why, I don't know. Or you're not old enough to know this information. And what's coming quite clear is, no, this is simple. This is a why we all are, it's apparent. This is what, these whys are coming apparent. Like you're saying, Kate, it's very beautiful to me that these whys are connected on the spiritual level, our causal level. It's showing us why. This is how come this is like this. And this is what's becoming very apparent to all. Like I said, no longer time to be willfully ignorant anymore. And you're getting something very clear on there's another why for me that people would say, or how I need insurance, or the then, here's generally the statement attached to it is because if someone else, and we talked about this, well, you're not going to co-create that in your world. But if someone else hits my car or I hit somebody, I need this to show that I'll be responsible being and pay you or cover any damages. And this is the excuse usually given, or the line usually bat back out by us. It's just like, was that a commercial in the 70s that we all heard over and over again, and we're still saying the same shit about insurance and why we're supposed to have this? That's what I'm feeling, Kate. And because I always heard the reason was, well, because people aren't going to be responsible for each other, so we need a third-party interloper to make sure they pay. I'm like, yeah, but nothing happened. Right, but in case something happens, we need to do that because I can't trust the other guy over there in case something goes wrong. I can't trust him. So for me, this is getting at a fundamental thing about trust.
Okay, well, Michael, let's talk about insurance, which means not sure mind. And that's all that's saying. And look at the word vin. Vin in French means wine. So what you're saying with that plate on there allegorically is that you're driving drunk on the system, right? And I'll tell you why we've been talking about DMT and ayahuasca of late, because that brought this to light and everything started showing up in the literal. This is what happens. When we speak of things allegorically or literally on the air, what I'm looking for later is the connection to that allegorically. And of course, what is the vine of the dead? Ayahuasca. So, I get it. The vin is the vine of the dead in the fictional world. So what I'm constantly doing is correlating natural law of the positive to the dead law, natural law of the dead, negative. And they always show up in the mirror.
So here's where I think it's coming clear is, like you just shared so beautifully, as you said, what this VIN is, what its why. And people are hearing the why, but they don't know the how come. And now we're explaining this is how come you weren't looking at the why. Because sometimes you'll hear something like me, like come to the Emerald Table and like I'll hear this thing again and again. And I'm like, how come that doesn't make sense to me yet? How come that because the question you were answering, right? You're going, here's a question we all have. Here's the answer, so to say, or the solution. But our question is so muddled, we can't hear the answer yet clear enough, Kate. So in this, I'm like, man, that makes completely sense to me, resonance with me. It's the truth. But how come I can't get it clear in me? It's because I ain't got the question, so to say, right in me. We've been in this confusion, and we're like, yeah, I got this confused, but I resonate totally with that. And so now you don't have to make sense out of the confusion. You're just like, but what is one of those questions why we were doing this? Like, why would I need a VIN? Why do I need insurance? Because somebody told me to? No, take it back. It's because it's this connection to as you were saying, the dead fictional reality. It's connection to this dead system to, in a way, feed off you, to keep it alive in a way, which all those ties have been cut. They're just, to me, loose, random thoughts at the moment. In some ways,
I just want to share a post from Facebook I did this morning, and this is where this was starting to coalesce in my reality. I always let things just go and they sort themselves out. That's the joy of the right brain. You don't have to think. You just let it go. But here it is in a nutshell. Rome and the Whore of Babylon only own the numbers and paper. The people allow their real things to be owned through claim of legal name id entity, which attaching themselves to the vin of the deed or dead, right? Dead can be pronounced D-E-A-D, can be pronounced deed. That's why we have property deeds. It's dead, okay? So this is the vine of the dead. Every tree, living or dead, has a stem, a trunk, and branches of governments and banks. The cyst stem is the flower of death, not life. The legal name makes you a branch of this dead plant. Planned crucifixion, plan T. When you cut the branch, legal name, you cut all things you own from the cyst stem tree, being that name is the only thing that allows this system to feed from you. This is natural law. Just like any other tree, the tree dies when the roots and branches are severed. The name is both. As above, so below.
That is so true. And now let's dispel the fear around it. Because this is what's generally, this is just truth. This is heart. This is love. And there's fear around it that, so people, like even myself, this is what I recognize, it's where I don't see this or feel this clear. Now I'm seeing it clearer. I'm resonating with clearer. And I'm recognizing the fear that was before blocking my view of it, so to say. So what you're saying, sharing here is that you just described freedom to me beyond, It's just like you do this, you recognize you're no longer attached to the vampire. You're no longer attached to whatever was sucking the life out of you in a way. It was no longer stealing your attention where you forgot to live. Really, that's if you want to get right down to the real basic of it. What this is doing is, as long as your mind, your attention is caught in that, you're in that play, and that play is like we keep describing, a dead one. It's where you really don't live. It's you're working for something, working for somebody else, slaving away at something that really just, if I had to say you only had one day to live, 24 hours, how much are you going to live? I got that job thing to go. Well, there goes a third of your so-called day, however much you had to prepare to get to it or go to it and da-da-da-da. I'm like, half your day's fucked, mate. You're just telling me you had one day left to live and 12 hours you spend in it basically dead. I'm like, okay, now I'm spreading that over a so-called lifetime. I was like, same picture, brother. It's a different day. It isn't like, yeah, but over here I'll get all that life back.
Well, here's a question.
You ain't getting back. It's right now.
Let's keep it simple. Here's the concept, so simply put. And I'm going to ask anyone that's ever been out in a garden, has anyone ever pruned a tree? Has anyone ever cut a branch or a flower in their life? If you have done that, that is exactly the same thing as a name. Now, I want you to imagine pruning a tree, cutting a branch off, and then just trying to stick it back on. You see, when you prune a branch off a living tree, unless that branch is given life, either spliced to another tree or planted in the ground and nurtured again, that branch will die. So here's the mirror of how it works. You see, all the branches that are on the dead tree, the tree of the dead, is dead. And only when you sever it can it become life again. So in the mirror, in reverse, when you cut your dead branch off, that's what it means to be ye must be born again. There's another allegory for the same thing. Sever yourself from the book or the tree of the dead, because you are the only one feeding it and giving it life. Without that branch, the tree is dead, and it already is dead. And it really is that simple. So imagine your name as a living branch on a dead tree? Do you really want to have all of your life drained into, and that's the root as well. The branch and the root are the same thing, as above, so below. So when you cut that branch free, the name is the branch. It's the only thing that has you tenuously grafted. There's the word I was looking for. You have been grafted to the tree of dead, and it's only held there by your consent to hold on to that graft. So let go of that. Everything, if you can imagine that branch that is you, and all of the little offshoots, children and family and homes and cars, and everything that you own is on that branch. Everything. Remember, anything registered is part of the branch that feeds that tree. But when you sever your branch, everything that is on that branch with you, this is the power of one. Everything that is on that branch comes with you. So if you are not strong enough for yourself and don't care enough about yourself to set yourself free, just keep in mind, if all of the things that are attached to your branch, your wives, your husbands, your children, your family, all of your relatives, everything, care enough about them to stand for them. If you haven't got the strength for yourself, fine. I walked that road for a long time. And the only thing that really motivated me was the love of those around me. That's what carried me across the threshold. Deep within me, I always knew I'll be fine. It's not me I'm worried about. I can stand my ground. Yes, I have been in situations that were absolutely terrifying, yes, but I stood my ground knowing full well, just that knowing within, it'll be good. I mean, hell, you come here, you're on a suicide mission anyway, so let's play, let's party, let's dance.
Kate, this is, as I was sharing right in the beginning of the transmission today, of how when you cut as you're saying, you cut the name from the tree, you cut this branch, what people will feel like is, how am I going to live? And it's the inside out and backwards trick that's been going on. You're like, you weren't living. That's the thing. Now you are. As you cut that branch, your real roots, you recognize, I'm not connected to that dead thing, and you recognize you're connected to as you want to say, the tree of life or the living. And the fear is the opposite. The fear is when you do that, you won't be living. How am I going to live? What do you mean? And it's that, you see, it's this addiction. It's like the thing that you need to cut yourself off from. You think it's the thing you need to live. And when you cut that, the name, this association with this dead, the tree is, Kate is, it's so beautifully clear with me here in the dream time, that there's no fear. There'll be a fear. The fear is that it's that giving up your addiction, giving up what you thought was real, when it truly wasn't. And this is coming to me in many different ways in my own life. Oh, yeah, here's another way this is showing me. Here's another way life is showing me that how I still got that bit of polishing to do, so to say, or just acknowledging. And we're no longer, that fear is gone, Kate. This is what I'm saying. People are going to realize that quite clearly now. You sever the name, you sever this connection to the system, to the dead system. And this is a spiritual one, guys. And what I said, it ain't no difference right here. This is the dream.
How alive do you act? Yeah. How alive do you actually feel slugging it out day after day for nothing?
Yeah.
What's your alternative? Yeah, to continue doing that? I'm like, just, and this is what I'm getting at, Kate. Well, how can I do this? What I'm saying is you accept this knowledge. You accept this fact. Right there, that's where it starts. But what do I got to do? What you have to do is go, yeah, that's the truth. I know it. I accept that as fact, accept that as is, and this changes the whole game now because your so-called outside world is now going to reflect that. People are like, but do I cut up? This is where we go. It's your intent. It's your knowingness in your heart that this is the way it is. Otherwise, oh, man, you can cut up this, throw away that, burn that. And I'm like, but if you ain't got this inside, that's just you still playing a role. This is what I'm saying. Once you get it inside, the outside doesn't fucking matter in terms of what you do. Shit. You could glue your license friggin' to your forehead and walk around like that, laughing your ass off if you wanted to. Hey, look who I am. And you know what I mean? You know it isn't you. You know, you can really start having fun in this co-creative dream we're sharing. And so it's there, knowing this. And this is what it's so, in a way, important to me, is because, again, if you don't know this, you're still being at effect to what you're calling the external world, what you're calling your life. And I'm like, no, you just step back, you just tune back into the system frequency, and you're catching that movie version of reality, and not actuality.
An allegory.
Mike, Kate, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Amy?
Oh, hi, Amy.
I am wonderful. Good morning. Hi, everybody. I'm so full of emotion listening to this. And what I'd like to say is to most people, in terms of the VIN number, there's more than one VIN number on your vehicle. And the one inside your left door panel, there's also one on your engine. I'd invite everyone to Google their particular model of vehicle and to determine where your VIN numbers are on your particular vehicle, and then you determine what you're going to do after that. And further, what I'd like to say to everyone is, we were born into a system.
Hey, Amy, you got the little echo going. I think you got the speaker on.
Into a system.
Okay, here we are.
Hey, Amy, you got the little echo going. I think you got the speaker on.
Hello? Now?
Yeah, you're there. There's just an echo going on. Someone's got some speakers open or something.
Hello? Now? Is it better?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. And, I was thinking, as I've been listening, how, we're born into this system.
Amy,
and
we got it again.
We're born into this system.
You got to shut off your Skype window or something, or your computer.
You got to shut off your Skype window or something, or your computer.
Yeah, there's a major loop going on there. Hey, Amy, before you carry on here, I want to stress something that you brought up. Yes, there are in most cars, older ones anyway, the VIN you will find on the inside panel of the driver's door, on the actual body frame. It could be on the door itself, but typically on the body. And the most important one is the one on the dashboard. That's where they dash your head. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Okay, I'm going to assume there's not going to be any echo because I think it's coming from a time lag from Hawaii. That's what it sounds like. It's that long of a delay. But getting back to the VIN or the here, I'll get Amy's mic open here and Janet again. And just handy having extra hosts, eh?
Yeah, that worked out good.
Handy having
universe timing.
Exactly. Let's see how we're doing now, Michael.
Let's see how we're doing now, Michael.
I kind of don't want to speak.
It is on your mic. It is on your mic. Son of a bitch.
All right, Kate, you hold the board. I'm going to go. I'll be back in 5 minutes, Kate.
Yeah, reboot. I've got the board and reboot, I'll see. I'll just call back in through the host again. I'll hold the fort down until you get back. Okay, here we go. All right. I knew I had to show up here for a reason today, but anyway, there you go. Okay,
I took my VIN number off the door, but I didn't find it on the dash, so I don't know. I guess
typically it's on. It will be on the driver's side, right down by the windshield, and all you need to do with it is take a long handle screwdriver and just pop that baby out. Yeah. That's the only one that's visible. You see, with no name, there is no entry into the vehicle, so the other two don't really matter. I've scraped the one out of the door, and there's a new engine in my car anyway, and that's why any VIN on an engine is irrelevant, because an engine can be changed out. The door frame can't be, and the one that's riveted is assumed that it's going to stay riveted. Sorry, I'm not riveted to this movie anymore, so I just pop it out, right?
Right.
But look at the name of a dashboard. Yeah, when you get your head dashed on the rocks or get it dashed on a board, either way, you're getting your head done in. So it tells you that as well. But anyway, Amy, carry on, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. It was the problem was on Mike's end, and I always go to the problems that I've had in the past with phones and it looping. So it's all good. It's all good. Carry on.
Yes. Everyone, what I was thinking, this morning, and it was a delight hearing your voice, Kate. I didn't know you'd be here, but I'm thinking about how we're born into the system, and we accept as normal the things that our parents or our families accept as normal. And I was, I guess as most people here at this table, I've always been an observer. And as a child, I listened to the things that my grandparents were concerned about. They were always concerned about politics. They were always concerned about what they were going to do in Washington and how that was going to affect them, that trickle-down effect. And being raised in so much fear, I realize now, I think that's most of us. And so we don't realize how certain things about our culture, really, we become indoctrinated into slavery, which is what our system is. And it has been quite shocking to me to awaken, to determine that that's what I've been observing all of these years. And the subtle vines or the VINs in our lives that hook us to the system, such as our rites of passage. You turn a particular age, what do? You get a learner's permit to drive. Everyone is so excited. What does this mean? This means that you're going to soon be a driver. You're going to be a licensed driver, which means it's going to tie you into the system. You're going to need insurance to drive. And in some states now, you have to, be insured to even get a learner's permit, you yourself. Unless someone signs you in, you're covered by someone else. So it's just the laws are constantly changing, and we need to be aware who's changing these laws and why are they being changed, and what ultimately do they do. I know how to drive. I haven't driven since 2009, and until I came to this table, I didn't know that I would ever be able to be a driver again because I didn't know and hadn't figured out the license and that. So I learned from you, Kate, and from those at the table that how I'm tied in or how I was tied into the system through just that rite of passage of what we thought was a freedom or a right. And actually it's a RITE right, in that you're then now surely tied in. And then you go on from that, and what does it qualify you to do? To go into the military, to exercise that patriotism that we were all taught in school, and, follow the leader, do what everybody else is doing. And that is the way that we live our lives until the point where we see people old and decrepit, and they've worked for years and years to pay off a house that now their kids are going to sell. They're going to break all that stuff that you've collected all of these years. It's going to Goodwill. It's going to various thrift markets. It's to the junk, to the trash. It's ridiculous. We need to wake up and understand what kind of game we're in, what we've been putting our energies towards, and really, it's not for cowards. I lost everything. Every friend I knew, everybody that I knew except for my children. But what I want to say to everybody is that people will show up. Circumstances will show up. You will figure out ways. It's just, I never intended, back when I believed in death and dying, I never wanted to be old and sad or sorry that I did not fully live my life, that I did not fully learn who I am and what my motivations are and what makes me happy and what makes me content. And I woke up inside realizing that, you know, my husband and I, while we had married very young, we married because of circumstance. We stayed in it because of circumstance. Children, they came about. And you just go on living until you realize that, you know, my life is not my life. It's an entity separate and divided from me, and I'm performing in it. This is the first that I've heard of an opportunity for me to truly now belong with people who think like me, because I've always looked at people and wondered, can't you see what's going on, you guys? I mean, what is this we're participating in? What is this we're doing? And these vines here that we're talking about now are our ways back to that we're finding our way. And Kate, I look forward to that essay about that tree and these stems and this death tree, because it just makes it all so much more. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it just breaks it all down for me.
It's easier to paint a picture for people, Amy, and this is that's the songwriter. It's what I've done my whole life. That's what's prepped me for this, telling people concepts in a picture versus trying to explain it, because the words are always lacking. You know this. We all know this. And you're right. And every one of us have had to sever literally ourselves from our family trees and friendship trees based on the lie, because when you sever yourself from the system, that brings all of the other branches that are still attached to the dead tree, that literally pulls you away from them. So it's a very logical, natural process. Very painful, and that's the one part we have to get over. It is a very painful process, and this is what is the crucifixion. This is you passing through the crucifixion. And it really is as simple as that. And I know that's a difficult one. I remember one of the very first shows I did, I'm going to go back to my archives in my my hard drive, because I started an essay regarding this very same thing, the tree. I go back to one of the very early shows in my FM radio days, and I talked about how we have been living a lie in the same way that our parents lied to us, telling us there was a tooth fairy, there was a Santa Claus, there was the Easter Bunny, all the rest of it, and we continued that lie. So that to me is the allegory of what the system parent aspect is. The system is constantly like, the system wants us to be just like them. So that just tells me that the system parents are liars. And who wants to play Monopoly with somebody that is going to change the rules as you play the game? And that's what the system does.
Yes.
I'm done playing. That's all. And it's so crazy simple. And it's only the concept that people have to get. And it takes a little bit to work yourself around this. So I'm really hoping that I can paint this picture clear enough to give people the confidence that they need and the understanding, because whether their ego hears it or not is irrelevant to me, because I will only speak directly to spirit, to the truth within them. And then the choice is theirs. Can you stand in the truth, or are you going to continue to deny it? Because I'll tell you, once you understand the truth and you deny it, the universe is going to bitch slap you after bitch slap until you stand in it. You're going to constantly get nudged into that. And what you said, Amy, about the people showing up and all, you just have to let go, and the universe takes it from there.
Yes.
It is pure magic. 2 years ago, at this time 2 years ago, I was in a very devastated place, completely devastated, devoid. This time last year, the being that I would call my soulmate saw fit to leave me locked outside all day while she went to work. And when she did get home, I slept on the floor. This is the same being I opened my heart and home to, that I took anything she needed, she had. completely denied me of all. So this was a very, very low point for me, a very big contrast to walk through. So I do understand this with people. I really do. And it takes a while to get through that. And I had to work through my crucifixion. I had to look at the things that I would never do again. I had to look at the things that, as hard as it was so very easy just to, I could do it right now. Step back into the system, back into the ways of the whore and all the rest of it, and the comfort could return the family. Oh yes, I'll just tell them I was wrong, and they'll go, oh, we know, come in and don't worry, Jesus will save you, and I could go into that, okay? But please, seriously?
No.
Right.
Walk all alone, all one.
Right. I want to show you your power and where you're standing, and I'm going to tell you that you are right, and you've always been right. You've known you were right all along, and all we needed to do was gather enough of us together to confirm that with each other. This is not about patting each other on the back. What this is saying, cool, I knew I was right, and I have another point of me and a point of you showing me that mirror. So this mirror that we sit at together, I am most grateful for. So thank you for being that shining, blindingly beautiful mirror. And that's what we do for each other. Ask me if I am motivated.
Oh, yeah, it's a dream come true, that's for sure.
It is.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Hey, Alvita.
Hi, Alvita.
Hi. Aloha.
Aloha.
Yes, we have done it. We've done it. We're just waiting for the other ones to jump on board with us. But we there. They coming along faster and faster. So happy to hear somebody on my Facebook, nephew of mine. He woke up and he's like, I can't believe all this stuff is a lie, So they're coming along,
Good.
But no, there's no going back to the system. Once you out of there, you can't go back, We're free, and it feels so good, so good. And we're doing it together.
And to those who are tied into the system, to those who are afraid, to those who lack the courage, just keep listening and keep tuning in. And courage comes by doing. I didn't have any courage to walk away from everything that I knew. I didn't have so much the courage to give up on the marriage and all the friends that I knew when I contemplated, when I decided to write my letter and to leave the organizations, everything, to detach myself. I knew and I fully accepted what it meant. It meant that everything that I knew, everything that I had been building for over 26 years would be dissolved, because I knew that came with the territory. When I stood up as a female, when I stood up as a wife, when I stood up in every way that, even with my friends who did not agree with me, who were still and still are detached to the system that I left, I knew what it meant. They would never speak to me again. And it didn't matter. It hurt me, but it did not matter, because my life has always been a series of leaving. My life has always been a series of not having the things that most people take for granted, as in parents. And then the one that did remain hurt me in every way. And still, the courage, what it did, everything that I've ever gone through fortified me, individuated me, made me, a unique individual that, as this show says, Gaia Sophia dreaming. I believe that Gaia dreamt you into being. Everything that you went through was your refinement, because you represent all of us. And your courage and your voice, just every day, day after day, your energy, your tenacity, just everything that you bring to this table, preparing it for us. There are no words for me to express because I've been looking for it all of my life. When I was 5 years old, the world didn't make any sense to me. And so I say to everyone out there, the courage comes each step that you take. It's as how, Kate, maybe you can help me with the old Irish proverb that the road will, may the wind, how does it go?
May the wind be always at your back, and may the road rise to meet you.
To meet you. And
there's more to it, but that pretty much covers it.
Yes. So thank you. And just keep listening to the show. Keep tuning into everything, because what I do know is that if you don't, your family, your friends, just the fear of it all, the monster looks so big, you will turn back and you will run back to what you know. But you can't stay. Everything in you, if it was ever real, will eat you up. You cannot sell out. You cannot do it. It's not worth it. And so that's, what I look at when I look at those who sat at this table with us since I've been here. And I know there's been many that have probably been here and gone. But the ones that have been here since I joined the table, that have now left or whatever they've done, it's all right. It's all right, because their piece is very, very important to what we're doing, and that Gaia is dreaming. She's dreaming all of this, leading us home, and all we have to do is just keep coming to the table. And everything else, I do believe, if you're sincere, if your heart is pure, I do believe the way will be shown you.
Without question. And that's the leap of faith. It's not the leap that matters so much. It's the second baby step you take to verify your own truth. That's why I tell people, don't listen to me and believe what I say. Believe and look at yourself. Find the truth that resonates within you. It's not true because I or anyone else says it. It's only true when you do.
Mirror, mirror.
No saviors there, baby. No pedestals. No need for chainsaws. So, for me, it has always been about empowering others, and this has really been the common thread throughout everything I've done in my life, and I've always seen this. And it is the real bliss and joy with me is watching others come into their own. And when I see that flourish, when I see that flower just bloom, it's like, nice garden. See, this is a garden that we all grow for each other. And if you want to plant weeds, that's fine. That's system. If you want to plant roses, well, that's you. That's life. You just got to make a choice. And Amy, I got to tell everybody at this table, each and every one of you have had such a profound effect, not only on myself, but on all those that come to this table. This is why we do this together. And I like using the allegory of, if you could imagine a puzzle on your table that's put together, a 5,000-piece puzzle, and there's one piece missing. What is the first thing you notice?
That missing piece.
Not the beautiful panorama. And I don't care if that is a cornerstone piece of the puzzle. I don't care if it's a piece of the sky that looks like all the rest of the sky. I don't care if it's the main subject, the face of the main subject. Every one of them is equally missed when the picture isn't complete. So it matters not what role you play or what importance you may place on yourself, that I call it ELSI, elevated level of self-importance, that you put upon yourself. Lose that and start to elevate the importance of all in that self. Because that sky that's missing, that piece of the sky that's missing, is a piece of you that is empty and void. That's why it has to be simple. It has to be for all, because every piece of this puzzle is critical. I don't know how much simpler I can make it. And it really, guys, the whole game wraps up in that. Be the piece of the puzzle that is missing. No name, no game. There is no... The power of this is just mind-blowing. And I'm going to go back to that Friday night. I mean, here I'm sitting in a car. They couldn't even come to the car. That's the power of you. No VIN, no nothing. They couldn't anything. I had someone ask me yesterday about, a car being in... It's exactly the same scenario as me. A car being in someone else's name. It's a corporation, whether it's a corporation or a name, it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you this right now, you pop the VINs out of that car. There's nothing the system can do about it. Nothing. Because it doesn't exist any longer. That is the vine of the dead that is attaching that car or that house or that child to their dead tree. You cut that branch, your branch with the name, everything that is attached to you spiritually is severed at the same time. So this is what it means. When you save yourself, you save all anyway. Like I said, if you don't think that you're worthy of it and worth it, I know you are, but if you can't do it for yourself, well then do it for your children. Do it for your friends. Do it for your family. Because I know each and every one of you that sits at this table has already done that. And I know this very same concept has passed through you because you are much better at helping and serving others than you would ever serve yourself. That's why you're here. And please tell me I'm wrong, because I know I'm not. I know the heart of the warrior, the true blessed warrior, in the peaceful sense, by the way, is the one that serves all selflessly, in the full knowing that when you serve all, you are serving self anyway, because you are part of that. It's easy. So easy.
Yep.
That's why it's hard. It's just, it can't be that simple. Yeah. It can't be that simple.
You're right. You overthink, no, can't go that easy. It can't. But yes, like you said, it's just so easy. It's too easy that it's hard for people to grasp, Oh, boy.
Me either. I just had to look for the common threads in everything. As I call them, the with me 3Ds, common 3Ds, threads, common threads. So I looked for the with me 3Ds in the literal illusion. And it is beyond magical when you really start to see when you find the one ring that rules them all, right, fractal, when you find the one ring that rules them all, the whole thing gets laid out for you, the whole string gets laid out for you. And you see the connection from start to finish, which is non-existent. Start to finish is the same thing. But you see the beginning is the ending, and the ending is the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's where the intent and the final outcome are the same thing on either end of the ladder.
Yeah. And every single thing that happens in our life is a piece to finding a way home, If I'm looking back, just listening to you and then looking back, it's just so many things that just click, and everything that happened was supposed to happen, especially the bad things, because you learn more from those lessons than anything. So you had something else to do, a higher place to go to, and just all those pieces, like you said, start rolling out for you, and you start like, oh my God, But yes, I had so many, just listening to you, and I just start putting things together, and it's like, wow, all the way from childhood to today, like right now, and it's just amazing when people go back and just look at the patterns, look at the different signs that lead you to different places, to get information for yourself. Like you said, don't listen to me, Listen to me, but do it your own way,
You've been on the yellow brick road your whole life.
Yes. Yep.
Go and have a look, and you'll see you've always been on. Remember, when we come here, that's the tornado dropping our house
right.
in Oz. And you start at the beginning of the yellow brick road on your journey to find the Emerald Table, Emerald City, the Emerald Heart, the Emerald I Will, the Emerald Isle. That's why, just a coincidence, just look away, I look at the word slavery. I love that word. It's so beautiful. It tells you everything. Say truth. They just have the silent L. And the dangerous L is always the silent one. Right? Look at the word in Taurus, I have. The L is silent. Enough of the duality. I don't cut it in half anymore. I have. Right?
Yeah, and that was a tricky one. Yeah.
Look at the word silent. Well, let's take the L out. And what do we have? Scient, which is spirit mind. Spirit mind doesn't need intent. Anything that is created. Without intent. That's the illusion. I just started having a bit of the dream time that I was hovering in, started to come back a little bit, and that's actually where a lot of this, what I'm talking about today, comes from. That's what I do is when I awake, first thing, I'm very, very cautious as to how far I awaken in the literal sense. Because you hang out there and just listen. And all this magic stuff starts appearing. It's beautiful. And I'm not sure. I'm still not seeing Mike on the board here. But I just opened 661. Perchance it might be Mike.
Aloha.
Hey, how are you?
This is the other Michael. Hello, Kate. Hello, Kate. Janet, Amy, Alvita, and if Michael's on or not. Wow, such beautiful sharing going on this morning. Oh my goodness.
How'd your court go?
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't complete that yesterday. My son-in-law needed some help, and I thought I was going to be able to arrange it in between times, but when I looked at the papers, I realized that I had downloaded the I Who Shall Not Be with legal name, and evidently when I edited that and put in my name in that part, I had deleted some of that. So I've got to go and fix that before I can take it. But I ran out of time anyway yesterday with the happened to help my son-in-law. He needed a hand with some tires. So I didn't get to do that. But and I have a question for Kate, but I'll ask that in a minute. I wanted to share what hit me this morning out of this. It's so beautiful. And by the way, I'm not echoing, am I? Am I okay?
No, you sound great. It was the issue was on Mike's Skype end, so I'm not sure. So wait for him.
I wanted to make sure because I'm on Skype and I had my speaker on, and I wasn't sure if it. I dropped off when you guys did that to make sure it wasn't me, but then I came back. But what I wanted to share, Kate, you said something so beautiful this morning, and you glazed right over it, but it was such a beautiful picture, and I know you'll pick this up when you do your essay on the tree. You mentioned that the only connection we have is the graft, and I thought that is so beautiful because it is the graft. It's the greed that keeps us wanting to suck at the whore of Babylon's tit. That comfort that we have not been willing to gift up.
There's a man with a thesaurus. Good on you. Good pickup.
Yeah, it hit me right away when you said that. It's like, and then something that Mike said. I mean, what a beautiful opening monologue. And I kind of came in late on that. But oh my goodness, I was thinking about it. When we stand in our power, when we pull back from that system, when we let go of all those fears, you know what happens to me? And I've seen it all through this morning. It's when you stand and you pull back your energy that you've been feeding to all these system lies, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this power and energy that I have now? Oh, well, maybe I'll create my own dream, or maybe I'll get with the dream of life or the dream of the living things. And it's like, what a sweet, sweet picture to me. And it's like so, so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you all so much. And Amy, the sharing that you do, it's like you just fill my heart. Wow. And thank you for that stand. And thank you all for your stands. Oh, my goodness. That's about all I have to say for the moment. Thank you.
You mentioned you had a Hey, Michael. You mentioned you had a question, Michael.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I had called you a couple of weeks ago, Kate. I'm the one in Maryland.
I know the voice, hon. I know the voice. All good.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you knew who I was. I'm going tomorrow. Well, I'm sorry. I had told them yesterday that I was going to go to and do that, but I wasn't able to complete that. The two papers that I was going to take to the court were the I who shall not be with legal name and I am the witness. Does that sound to you like the appropriate papers to?
Sure. I toss in Babylon Has Fallen just for good measure. Remember, it's not the paperwork, it's you. When you get the concepts, it's the intent.
Well, actually, I
you.
had pulled that out, and I had also pulled out, did you know you're a criminal, and attention all police agents, because I felt like they were all pretty good.
Can I suggest something to everyone that I suggest all the time?
Sure.
Send it all in.
Okay, gotcha. Good. Okay.
If you know what's on the paper, if you've read it, it's yours. You get it? That's your grenade of truth, because you have got the aha energy in it. It's not the words, it's not the paper, it's you. And this is so in the mirror for people. This is the power of you. It's not what's on the paper, it's what you get from it in concepts that you are empowering that paper in. It's the pure intent of you, the nameless, the one who shall not be named, that is sending that pure seed of truth in, and send it in and walk away. Plant the seed and let the giant go.
And this is what we were tuning in with earlier. We were talking about, unless you get that in your intent. Once you have that in intent, it's like you're serving the papers to yourself. That's basically who you got to serve them to first.
Thank you, Michael.
And then you're like, okay, I get it. And then you realize to serve anyone outside that you thought you needed to, already you've done that with you now knowing this. Now you get it. I got it. Now you've already, in that moment, you're no longer in a dualistic mind. There's no separation. So you can now walk happily over there and assist the system in severing all ties. So
that's your truth grenade. Pull the pin and toss it in. That's your seed of your tree of life.
So we do this
every graft. Yes, go ahead, Mike.
We do this every time we accept the truth and go, yes, I know that in my heart is the way it is, and the world is going to reflect this. The world is going to show this. And watch it. This is what Kate keeps reminding us. She's like, whoa, I see it all the time, quite quickly. You know, which I'm, catching here in the anagogic spiritually how this, we're working in our causal nature and seeing the effect. And this is what we're doing. And people keep, no, the world just keeps going. And this is called Gaia Sophia dreaming for a reason. This isn't, that's what I'm trying to get at. This, do you hear me call this a show? I told them to take the off the front and the show on the end and my name off the title. I was like, I don't need it. You can take my picture off of there too. I ain't advertising. I'm speaking truth from the heart, core. This is what it's about. My table is the whole friggin' world.
Universe.
Everything. Come to my table. Yes, you're all sitting at it. Wake the fuck up. Hello, here. Have a smoke. Have some nice pure water. Well, you're all anyway, so you have it also.
Can I share a little allegory with you guys? This came up. There was a post here from Randy Ram. This is. I'm going to show you how the anagogic and why I giggle at this universe so much. Speaking of COINTELPRO, did you know that Drake Bailey spoke of you often before they got to him? What a waste. Did you ever come through? Where was it? Oh, okay. Okay, that wasn't related to. It was part. That was the post that he put up, and it went into talking about the John Hancock Building, Michigan Avenue. My key gone. Key go. You can't make this shit up. Anyway, Michigan Avenue in Chicago, and apparently at the back of the building, that's where you'll see the Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces, the Ferraris, and all of the top-end stuff. So this is a building that's filled with parasites. And, of course, it had to be called the John Hancock Building. When someone asks for your signature, what do they say? I'll put your John Hancock there. It has long been talked about that John Hancock was the one that wrote all the signatures on the Declaration of Independence, or the Constitution, right? So have a look at what is the John Hancock. Well, that's the signature, and that is the one thing, the name that ties you to the Whore of Babylon. And it had to be the John Hancock. There's that phonics shit with me. Anyway, the John Hancock Building, the center of all signatures, where all the green wealth is. I mean, this is beyond funny. And Michigan, there's the my key gone, my life gone, and it totally makes sense. So, guys, this thing is just getting affirmed and confirmed in real time, now by now, and it's just getting funnier. Lose the name, win the game.
How, some examples that people can lose the name?
Well, first off, it's only an assumption and presumption of legal that you have a legal name. The assumption and presumption is removed when you have things like licenses from licentious, you sexually and morally depraved criminal you. It's when you have things that you deem to be you. And I go back to the statement I've been making lately. Someone who thinks or claims that they know who they are and carry any form of identification with them is like a recovering alcoholic with a 40-pounder in their purse, just in case. There must be no doubt as to who and what you are. Just get the concept. Once you get the concept, you're fine. What you need to do from that point on is now you're going to be picking and choosing what you're going to be doing. You're going to stop using things like credit cards and debit cards and what have you. And this is not about removing everything from your reality immediately, because it's already been done. I did that. You don't have to. You have to walk, though, and you have to have the intent of walking in that direction. And I don't care how long it takes for you to get there, but you better be making the baby steps. And I told people, you can start with a library card to get that intention rolling. You can burn passports. You can burn birth certificates. You can do whatever you want to whatever level you are comfortable with. But I will assure you of this. The more you become into the knowing of self and the truth of this, the faster you want to get rid of all of this shit. Then you're going to start looking around and seeing a lot more of the control that is held over other people in lineups with their debit cards and punching in their little codes and the ATM machines and all the rest of the crap that goes with it. You should see anytime I go pick up some food or something, standing in the line and looking at all of these people using their little bits of plastic because it's convenient. And that's the graft. Thank you, the other Michael, for bringing that to the table. That's the greed. That's the graft that has you tied to the tree of the dead. So don't get stressed about this, guys. Please don't get stressed about it. You know, I've talked about this on every emotional level I can think of to get through to the ego, so that the concept gets in. So this is about the choice that you make from here on in. And if you want truth, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is seek it. It shows up. It's the ability to stand in it and the responsibility that you're willing to take on for not only yourself, but more importantly, all those around you, because in saving self, you're taking care of that anyway. This is the power of you, the power of one in all, and the all in one. And the more you walk in that direction, the more profound it gets. The more the universe opens to you for your eyes to hear and your ears to see.
And Kate, this is the shared dreaming, how you're going to watch the whole world change for all, because Kate is sharing so clear is when you come from this, call it point of view, where there's no separation, between you and all. So when I have a beautiful, let's call it dream, of how we live, it isn't just, oh, this is how only I live. You know, no, this is for all. So again, it isn't for one of us or some of us. Now, side note here, Kate, but that's the whole point of imagining a new world, is realizing that power, that when there's no separation, that the beautiful things you want to share with, you want to live in and share, is for everyone. There's no separation there, and it's very joyous. But a side note to that is, oh, I think we were talking about it. There's some greed there. There's something kind of off key that we keep striking.
Could I put it in these terms, Mike? Would that fit maybe for you? When we confuse things. I think, some of us think, or maybe generally we think that we're receiving something from the system that we can't live without. And what Kate's pointed out, and you pointed out, and many others, is the power is in us. The system is feeding on us. When we disconnect from the system, we find out all we were ever getting from them was stuff that was deadening us, weighting us down, dumbing us down, letting us down, causing us to become leaden, alchemically. But when we disconnect, then all of a sudden we realize, wow, that wasn't my power source. My power source is coming from universe. Now, again, what am I going to do with this power? Dream this beautiful dream, or participate in this beautiful dream of the living things. And it's like we realize all of a sudden that disconnection was the greatest thing that we ever did, just like what happened to Kate and like what's happened to so many, Amy, and I went through a period of that, and so many else have and have shared that. But it's like we all of a sudden find out we didn't need that shit, and it was killing us. It's like now we're finally living, and it's like that's that break point, though, that's so hard for people to get, because they have this belief system that can't live without these manufactured, dead system lies. And I love the way Kate put it today, that tree, that stem, everything stems from it, and it's all branches from that dead system.
Well, the tree of the dead can only have life by mimicking it. And the irony of this game is the only thing that keeps it alive is us. So, sever the branch, get rid of it. Well, I was going to say slavery. There's a beautiful word. Slay verily. Slay truth. Or ride the sleigh of truth. Become the Santa Claus yourself, you see. So, the joy of this game now for me is all I got to do is look at the words and go, ha, 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 too funny. And you see it laid out in so many ways. It is mind-numbing, and yes, it's quite the cosmic joke. Hell of a joke, though, isn't it? Oh, man. Anyway, it wouldn't be a game without it. So, when we talk about adversity, I love that word as well, adversity, which is ad, Latin for two, ver meaning truth, psi, spirit, T, can either be a cross of crucifixion or the capital T, which is the law of truth, which is lave, love. So adversity means to the truth of spirit in love, or to the spirit of truth in crucifixion. Choose. It's a singularity.
Sweet.
There's the game in a nutshell. Find a word, mirror it, see where the middle is, and stand there. Because every time you do this with every single word, every single one of you, you've dispelled it for the entire universe. That's how powerful you are. I keep telling you, you're God.
And with this, you're dispelling these fears. And this is what's the distortion that tunes us into these polarized kind of ways. And so it's not just dispelling the words, it's this fear that has been connected to the, like you called it, there's a dead, to the dead system, was to the branch you were holding on to. And now you've severed that, and with that, you're tuned right back in naturally with your heart. And this is what I'm getting at. You're not lost now. You're not cut off. This is what we're saying. You recognize quite naturally your connection.
Yes. Sever or severe. How about this? How about se, ve, ro, e, which is the creation of truth and spirit breath of consciousness. So there's severe. Yeah, and it can be severe. Or sever. Choose. It just depends on how you pro, now, and say it. Pro, for, now, and now that is mine, say, create. For my now creating. Pronounce means for your now to create. That's why it's so incredibly important to pronoun and say everything differently, so that you're not following in the standard pattern of the program called grammar, or the tetragrammaton. It's a heavy weight to carry. Best let it go.
So, Kate, if we said this tetragrammaton, this shape that some contribute to Metatron or some other solids or densities, and we sometimes wonder, well, I read these words and stories attached, and where necessarily is our connection to these, well, shapes or forms or densities or things? And it's kind of always been a disconnect in a way, like on a screen.
There's the joy. There's the joy of DMT.
And this is what I'm getting at clearer. Now we are recognizing the interrelatedness of all of that and seeing how it, wherever we look, we're recognizing the pattern, so to say. The fractal in all, the what's behind whatever is shining or casting a shadow. And it's very nice. It's no nice doesn't describe it. What I'm saying is it's not confusing, because when you get caught up in, I want to say, the description of many of these things, you don't really get to finally deal with is at the root, or I want to say behind, but at the root of these things.
Here, allow me to expand on the word nice, because it's one of the most misunderstood words on this planet. The only time that the word nice is used correctly is when you're talking about a fit, a joint. It is a carpenter's term. I'm going to explain the importance of this, because when you take phonetically N-I, which, go figure, I'm from Northern Ireland, big hint there, but N-I means the infinite self. Say, the infinite self creation. So it's about how do you fit phi T, without the hex, G in the middle of it, phi, creation, sacred geometric creation, in the law of love, truth, T. So this is what we're doing here as perfect chiropenters. We are creating a nice fit.
And how about kind? Can you break this down for us?
Well, let's take the mirror of the P upside down, which is the D, and also the mirror of creation itself. It's only half of the whole in the capital sense. It's only it's a half moon versus the whole moon. So let's take the D and put the T back in. So now we have the kin T, which kin means family or knowledge, and T means love or truth or crucifixion. So there's another little trick that I love, and it works every single time, is I take out the GDP, the gross domestic product, and I put in KRT, which is Ka Ro T, and it just so happens to be my initials, Catherine Renee Thompson. Just guys, the clues for me are just mind-numbing in how much is there. This is why I get so excited about sharing it, because all of these same clues are in your reality. So we take out the G, put the hex, which is the upside down inverted 9, which is consciousness, creation, and it's been cut off. We replace that with Ka, which is spirit, or Ak. Then we have the D. We replace that with the T, which is truth. We take the mirror out and we put the truth in. And P, which is the backwards Ro, which is the Greek letter meaning spirit breath or creation, which comes out of you. Everyone has a Gemini. You got lungs. That's your spirit creating. And we replace that with the proper Ro. That's why they like to have Ro Mi, the spirit breath of magnetic electric, Rome. And if you're connected to Rome through the branch of this dead tree, guess where your spirit breath of magnetic electric is being used, and it isn't for your benefit. Pretty cool stuff. It's fun.
And this is why we say, why we're all kind of resonating with the heart. We're like, tune into your heart. Clean your system, like we talk about systems, like we talk about our body system, and then, clean your body, your system, and tune in with your heart, and all of a sudden, you'll realize a level of connection where you just know your energy does not come from an outside source in any shape, fashion, or form. And with that, the mental game goes with it. The emotional attachment dissipates, disappears. What's a better word? That dissolves. And your spirit flies. You're free. And we're not just talking on one level of reality. We're talking, this is actuality. Actuality is where, once again, multidimensional beings and these places we thought were somewhere else are right here, never were somewhere else. Well, they could be somewhere else, but you're connected with them. But and because it's that projection again, heaven's over there, hell's over there. The netherworld's located over there, and paradise is just around the corner here. And where's the fifth dimension, Mike? Well, Mike, depending on which way you're looking. And so this idea of all the ways we kind of compartmentalized and separated ourselves is coming back to this singularity. It's coming back to this one way of really sharing it, and it's with the heart and love, where again we're not describing things dualistically anymore. Why would we? We're home.
Well, yeah. Let me prove this further with phonetics. A little point here from Lucas Blue. As far as capitals, Capita Draconis, the head and tail of the dragon. Yeah, well, you see, the capital letters are from canon law as well. That's the only way you could name a god. Literally. It's in the canon law, you'll see it. But and it has to be the head and tail of the dragon at the same time. Kappa Ta L, which is Kappa K Ka Ta T Taurus intent. So the spirit of the toroidal field intent. That's what a Kappa Ta L letter is. Look at the word system. Let's repronounce it, because it has to be a positive too. So it is a psi stem, or a spirit stem. So if it is a spirit stem, that's you, the branch. You are the spirit stem that is feeding the life into this death. So you're either a cyst stem or a psi stem. And when you cut your own psi stem free, and plant yourself with your own roots, create your own way. Root also means way. Create your own way. You'll be just peachy. And it is magic. A shield goes up around you like you would not believe. We've been at effect for too long. This is the world of cause, boys and girls. That's the unconditional love of Oz. Cause. Just like a...
In Kate, the picture that many people have seen when what you're describing to me is this just complete opening where we are living. And when you describe that we're feeding the system, well, if you look back at Neo in the Matrix, everyone was in these, like batteries lined up like this. It's actually the opposite. It's not you're this small being and there's this big system sucking off of you. It's quite the opposite. You're all, and there's this little system sucking off of you, actually, if you want to put it into proper perspective. It ain't the other way around. So imagine you're this big, if you want to put it in terms of size, you're the one letting the system suck off your tit, not the other way around. Is that blunt enough?
That pretty much covers it. Absolutely. Again, there's the perfect mirror. While we are sucking on the tits of the dead whore, she is inversely doing the same to you and getting pure life in return. So we are exchanging life for death. Doesn't sound like a good outcome for me personally. So no. I'm gonna stop doing that. And here's the joy of this, guys. Every little thing that you do, cut your library card, cuts you from that. It is all about your intent. And you solve that intent with something as stupidly simple as an old ID card from high school or whatever. Go through the symbolic aspect of severing yourself from it. Just the same way Willy did at the police station when they couldn't hold him, and he took the license outside and cut it into the perfect quad and threw it in the garbage. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse got binned.
We got about 5 minutes left in our transmissions here with Gaia Sophia Dreaming. It's 5:55 in the Hawaii Dream Time. Sun is on the horizon. I said it's on the horizon. I didn't say it's rising. That's a bunch of bullshit. I ain't believing it anymore because I know different. I know better. My mama done told me you were trying to live a lie. The sun doesn't rise. And you're not going around it. So,
welcome beautiful. To your concave reality that you think is convex. Well, I'll tell you, if something is vexed, it's not a good thing. How about concave?
And we're coming out of the cave mentality where we are, felt we're holed up. We got to protect ourselves. Hibernation's over, people.
Did I get unmuted?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
Hi. I want to say, Kate, I like to experiment on myself. Tablespoon of baking soda is like Metamucil on steroids. It was fun.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I do, cleansing water with lemon, and I freeze the lemon, and all my citruses I freeze, and I love to grate it in, doggone it, let me go elsewhere. I love to grate it in the water, and it's very yummy and cleanse. So, and I'm a fan of baking soda. It's my deodorant for years now. But, oh my goodness, you guys keep talking about sharing, so here I am. I have this ongoing seed allegory, literally and spiritually, of course, I have some pot seeds. And long about probably the end of January or February, I decided I was going to sprout and do some indoor plants. And so I had 2 plants come up, and I was so very excited. Woohoo, I got my plants going. I can start making stuff when they grow. Woo! I wake up one morning, and these plants, which were about 2 inches tall, one of them was completely gone, and the other, the top leaves had been chewed off. We had a mice problem for a while this winter. Until we got a kitty cat. And so I have, after that, I had 6 seeds left. So here I've been just fretting over these seeds because they won't sprout. They just won't
So here
sprout.
you go. We got about a minute left. Some people are talking about this, and I've been sharing with friends. There's a different connection with the land now and with Gaia. And we share, like, you can put it in your mouth and then put it in the ground, do stuff like this. There's people actually sprouting right now, watching seeds sprout in their hand. I've heard this one. There are people putting stuff in the ground and the plant's growing there within a couple days, not even a couple hours. You're seeing growth that normally you would see in weeks. What's going to start appearing is Gaia is going to start growing abundance more than you would like believe. There's seeds everywhere. As Kate has shared, we're planting our spiritual seeds everywhere. So is she. And you're going to see this in abundance of life, just everywhere, singing her song, our heart song. And this is what's here for us. And you're going to be like, did I grow that? Did I plant that? Yeah, in a way you did. You're one with the being that you're living here with. Gaia Sophia, Panchamama, Mother Earth, you, me, all. And you're going to recognize this intimate connection right now with everything that is alive. And you're going to see even more of it. And so in this way, yeah, true abundance is naturally here for all. So aloha, thanks for tuning in. Gaia Sophia Dreaming, Critical Mass Radio. Come to the Emerald Table outside the box every day. Aloha all.
Aloha.
Aloha, Michael.
Beautiful creation, everyone. Love you.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm going to jump in my magic car pit and fly down to the shore here. So, much love.
See you on the beach, Michael. See you guys tonight.
Yeah.
Much love, everybody.
Aloha.
All right. Much love.
Pretty moronic, actually. Same thing you're blaming for your problems. You're trying to still give you the solution. You're like a heroin addict. You're like a hardcore addict to whatever substance it may be. And it's actually, you're an addict to the name. You're an addict to the system. You think that's what feeds you, keeps you alive. You think this is what's going to, well, you know it's poisoning you, but you also think it's your cure. Well, just a little bit more and I'll be free of it. Just give me one more taste and then I'll be done with it. I don't care what it is. Chocolate, alcohol, religion, Bobby Sue, Tommy, whoever, whatever. This is a level of the mind that we keep getting stuck in. And it's about to get unstuck. Because there's only so long you can remain willfully ignorant without something coming unglued. And when I look at the system, as we call it, the matrix, and as I've been sharing, it's getting louder to get you off its back. It's getting louder Just like, hey, get off my friggin' tit. You're a perpetual energy source yourself. You're a supreme being. And like this, I'm like, yeah, guys, which part of you are all powerful, and so is everyone else, did you not get? Did you forget? Did you not quite remember? Because as soon as you go, well, we got to see which government or religion or savior is going to make it right, when all they've shown you is the wrong, in a way. And I'm thankful. Thanks for the contrast. I had that one a little confused also. It's a wrong, right? Correct. Yeah, thank you. I didn't think stealing and hitting was good either. Whether I was a EV, come on, you know better. And he was, yeah, and he does know better. And he shared with me, yeah, okay. I said, you got to check your sources of information when you're spouting that crap. It won't happen in your lifetime. Generation for 12 generations said, well, you're looking at the picture wrong if you're thinking like that. There's one lifetime now. When we talk about the next generation, it's here. Already the next 3 generations are here. At least. And if we want to look at things clearer, the 3 generations are before, and you're here. So whichever way you want to look at it, we are living basically 7 generations of beings on this planet, minimum right now. So when you talk about saving this planet for the future, you better do it right here in this instant, this moment. Otherwise, you just went back into the old paradigm. These things never get solved. They're always pushed off into a figment of your imagination. That's a false reality. That's never getting on with the true living that is right here. That's always for us to do, and becoming more and more aware of this. You're not happy with something. For example, the government, your religion, your business. You're not happy with it for a reason. It's because it's broke. Stop trying to fix it and stop trying to get a solution out of it to your problems when it was the thing that made it. Or, well, it actually didn't make it, you made it. It just showed you. So take back your responsibility in this. And you can talk about, well, how is this so? Well, look, it's no different if the universe punches you in the nose or if your friend of yours punches in your nose. Well, Mike, one's way bigger than the other. And I'm telling you, they're sending you the same message. You know, and you're responsible. So
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Aloha. Gaia Sophia Dreaming. Mike here. Thank you all for tuning in with the heart transmissions. Much love, much gratitude. Whew. Thankful. Let's live the world we want to live. Let's dream it into being. Let's make it the reality we want. We've been living a figment of our imagination and actually not wanting it, but somehow thinking that is what all there is for us, and then even discounting ourselves, our dreams, our visions of the true reality of what we want to be, what we want to see, how we want to live. And this is arising, this is more than just arising, it's permeating, it's flooding the field, it's everywhere. And it's this. You can get caught up in any of the mainstream, new cage, whatever stuff is being spouted out there that causes you to think or feel fear. and you're looking at the world, you're not looking at it clear enough. Because most of the times there's no solutions when they present their problems. And if there's any, they, other parts of us, present, here's the problem. The solution is, 10, 20, 30 years or whatever bullshit. Hey, I ain't got a problem with the government in a way in terms of lying. I know they're lying. I'm an adult. I can see that and accept that and go, you're not telling me the truth. Thank you. But we have a thing to take this as, but the government is lying to us, but then we take it as truth. I mean, come on. This, to me, is